Hello, everyone, and happy Saturday. I have been so busy this week. So many things have happened, and I did kind of sort of got off plan yesterday. So let's talk about it. So, you know how we came back from New York on Monday? Tuesday, I went back to work and I made that video, of us returning. My goal for this week was to stay carnivore the entire week, to stay one meal a day the entire week. But unfortunately, I was not able to do that. Now, a lot of things happened this week. You know how we say life happens? That happened to me this week. Life definitely happened. On Tuesday, I got a text message from my sister saying that my mom is in the hospital. Unfortunately, she did have to stay there for a night. And then the next day, they were able to bring her home. That was Tuesday night. And so, the last video I made was on Tuesday. Because my sister was there, my brother was there, and they told me to just hold off and wait for the next day, because she was resting, etc. And then on Wednesday, which was my birthday, I went to work, and I left work a little bit early just because I knew that I was, if my mom was released from the hospital, I would go to her house, and bring her some food or bring her anything that she needed. So finally around 4-ish, my brother text messaged me. And he's like, mom's leaving the hospital, we will meet you at their house. So I grabbed my stuff. I went to the store, I got some food, I got some dinner for them. And I went there and I didn't leave their house until probably around 9:45-ish at night. So I didn't have time, to make a video. Thankfully, she got home, she was feeling better. They checked everything, for stroke, for heart attack, for, multiple things that could have, led her being in the hospital. Mind you, my mom is about 63 years old. And so anything that will make her feel that bad, her blood pressure was very, very high. Like I've mentioned here before that, she suffers from high blood pressure. And so, the food that I brought was, like chicken and some vegetables and stuff like that. Because I don't want, all of the carbs to be the cause of all of this stuff that's happening to her right now. So that was Wednesday. And then Thursday, we actually had a major assessment the entire day. The phones were turned off, everything was shut down. Normally those days are very, even though we don't do much other than monitor those days, they are very, very stressful and they are very, very tiring mentally and physically because we have to be standing and monitoring and walking around for the entire day, which is fine. We know those days are coming, but with my mom, being at the hospital and with testing and everything, it was just a very difficult week. Now, on Thursday, I went to the office and I told my team, hey, we are finished, everything is done, etc. And my colleague, she's like, oh, we were supposed to celebrate your birthday tomorrow, but there's another assessment coming. I said, oh, it's okay. I said, we don't have to. And she was like, no, we'll celebrate it next week. I said, oh, I can't next week. I said, because this is a week that I am not being very, very strict. And she was like, oh no, and my other colleague, she was like, well, we have to do it tomorrow. We have to celebrate it tomorrow. I said, yeah, that's fine, let's order some barbecue or something. So we did, but because it's someone's birthday, the norm, which I've said it here before, is, we order some food and then there's a cake. And my thought process was like, well, I can just have a piece of cake. It's no big deal. Even though it's not part of my plan. It's not what I told you guys on Tuesday. But I was just being, I guess, I don't even know, I don't even know what went through my mind. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know it was a very stressful week. And so I could have easily, eaten several pieces of the cake, which I did eat one. But I also ordered barbecue with some macaroni and cheese and some beans. And I ate the macaroni and cheese. Like, what the nonsense? I wish I could tell you I was strong. I wasn't. Now, that was my big meal. I ordered barbecue ribs, brisket, fatty brisket, as well as sausages. And so I ate those three, as well as the mac and cheese. And the beans, I left pretty much all of them. I might have eaten 5 or 6 of them, like the little beans, because they weren't really good, which I'm glad, because that's even more carbs. And then a whole bunch of things happening in between, that us eating and actually getting to the cake part. Just because there's just a lot going on, Thankfully, by Monday or Tuesday, it should settle down. And then by the time, like 1:45-ish or so, everyone was like, let's eat the cake, let's eat the cake. I said, sure, let's go ahead and eat it. It was a vanilla cake, and so everyone got a slice. And I knew I didn't want to take a big piece home because it was a pretty big cake. I was, everyone that would come by, I'm like, hey, you want a piece of cake? Hey, you want a piece of cake? Because of course I wanted to share with my family, with my boys and my husband, but I didn't want to have, so much that if I were weak at home with my cafecito, a piece of cake, would be great. But that was not the goal. The goal is, if you're going to eat it then, be done, and then continue, with your plan. So Monday was great in New York. Tuesday was great. Wednesday was great. Thursday was great. It was that Friday, yesterday, that everything I feel accumulated, and I gave myself the okay to eat that, instead of saying, you know what? I know we're celebrating your birthday, I know, I don't even know the thought process. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I think it's okay. Right now, I am back at it. Yesterday, I did get home. I did bring the cake. But I also, instead of having cake with my coffee, I went ahead and made some pork belly. And I had some cheese left over. So I made the pork belly. I cut up the cheese. And that's what I ate with my coffee. When I told my husband, I'm like, yeah, I had a piece of cake today. He was like, are you serious? No, for real? I said, yeah, I did. But what I'm noticing right now is, instead of that, decision that I made to eat that carb high food back in the day, would have spiraled me into, I already ate it. Another piece of cake won't hurt. I already ate it. Let me get some rice, or let me get a piece of bread. I don't know. But last night I didn't. And I feel that this process is a learning process for me and a lot of us here. And so I am very happy that instead of that happening, me spiraling down or me having a binge moment, I was able to, okay, if you're gonna say yes, it's a yes right now. If you're gonna say yes, it's a yes for this meal. Because a lot of people do cheat days. Dude, we can't do cheat days. It's a whole lot of carbs, especially if you're doing carnivore and keto and low carb. But right now, I know I'm gonna have difficulty the next several days, just because I'm no longer in ketosis, no longer burning ketones because of all of that. Those carbs, I'm going to be burning some glucose, and I might go through the keto flu once more once I start, my challenge tomorrow, which I have decided. I am going back to BBBE because I am determined to meet my goals no matter how many times I fall, no matter what. I did get on the scale. You're like, Raquel, why'd you get on the scale? Well, sometimes we're weird like that. So I got on the scale this morning, and it was 238.6, I believe. I'll put the picture here. Which, going to New York, doing as best as I could, eating the cake and the macaroni and cheese yesterday, I feel that weight is okay. Of course, I finished the challenge at 237, and I'll weigh myself tomorrow, just to get a starting weight. But guys, life happens. And so I think the goal for this journey is to learn whenever stuff like that happens and you give in. Like I've told many people, let the very next meal be back at plan. Let the very next meal you focus on your goals. Let the very next meal be guiding you and taking you towards success. And that's what I did. And I'm very happy that I followed that, because today's conversation would have been completely different. You know what I'm saying? I am always here like, yeah, we got it. And yeah, let's do it. And it's like, oh, guys, I messed up. I have to be honest with you guys, because at the end of the day, I'm an imperfect being trying to do my best to live a perfect life. And sometimes we don't do that. And sometimes, we don't necessarily do things that are beneficial for us. But if we turn around and make decisions that will definitely help us, I think that is more beneficial than us, falling down and just spiraling down. I don't know. That's how I feel, I guess. Live and learn. I am growing. I am becoming a better person when it comes to my relationship with food, like they say, because it is a relationship with food. You know what's good for you, you know what's not good for you, and we need to learn to set limits, and we need to learn to live this life, as healthy as possible. All of the decisions, every day, every meal. So decide appropriately, decide properly, and we will definitely reach success, okay? So today is also the day that I wanted to come and let you know that our challenge does start tomorrow if you would like to join. April 27th is our day 1 for our next 30-day challenge, okay? Now I am choosing beef, butter, bacon, and eggs once more for 30 days. That is the only thing that I'm going to eat, nothing else. Of course, I am also going to drink my coffee with half and half, and that is it. That's the only difference that I have done when it comes to BBBE, just because I can't drink my coffee with only butter. I tried it. It didn't work out very well. And I don't want to mess up my diet just because of my coffee. So I'm going to continue, drinking my coffee just like that, but only focusing on beef, butter, bacon, and eggs for the next 30 days. I will get on the scale tomorrow and see what it says. And I will also do a body composition video for day 1 as well as Sunday. Every Sunday I try to do a body composition video just to see, how I'm starting and how it's progressing. Just because we don't focus on the scale as much as, how many inches are lost, what size pants are you wearing? Right now I am still on a size 16 and I am still wearing a size extra large shirt. And they fit fine. I am feeling well in that size right now, okay? Let's say our affirmations. I am fit, firm, and muscular. I am in the best shape of my life. I love to work out. I am disciplined, spirit, soul, and body. I maintain my perfect weight. I am in the best shape of my life. In Jesus' name, amen. I also wanted to let you know that I am planning to do 30 days of workout with several days in between for rest days. I am looking at various templates at the current moment. I also have an elliptical, so it just depends on the day which workout I am going to do. If I decide to do the elliptical for the 30 days, then I will let you know. Of course, like I said, some days will be rest days, probably like Thursdays, just because Thursdays are my long days, and sometimes Tuesdays are as well. So maybe those 2 days might be my rest days as compared to the rest of the week. I will be working out. But, every video, I will try to come and let you know how the day was, if I was able to exercise that day or not, etc. One of the things that has kept me on track, and one of my friends has noticed, is that, talking to you guys has helped me stay on track. And so I'm going to try to do as many videos as possible, just so we can chit chat in the comments, hey, how'd it go today? Hey, did you follow? Were you strong enough for everything that you did today? If you fell and you ate something that you shouldn't, okay, what was your decision? Did you get back on track the very next meal? We are here to support each other, to help each other, to bless each other, and guide each other as much as we can, because this is a journey. And no, it's not an easy one, especially if you have always battled having a negative relationship with food. And so I want this community, as it continues to grow, for us to help each other and guide each other instead of, not. And I also do want to, welcome all of my new subscribers. Thank you so much for coming to the channel. I pray that we are a blessing to you. And I pray that every single video blesses your heart, helps you stay focused, stay determined to finish and reach our goals. Okay? Well, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Don't forget, pick your diet, keto, low carb, carnivore, BBBE like me. Whichever one that you decide, we will definitely start it tomorrow for 30 days. And once we hit those 30 days, we're going to say, we made it. We reached our goals for 30 days. All right? So let's plan for it. Let's prepare for it. And let's take action. Well, have a wonderful Saturday, and I will see you tomorrow for day 1 of our 30-day challenge. Bye-bye.